He's been a tremendous help at the back end of this festival, keeping everything going, keeping the numbers together, and helping keep us sane. Please welcome Rusty Prisk.
The question of civilization through convention or attribution of designation is no mere irritation. Does adaptation come through evolution or revolution? With the assumption of authentication, many nations have confused causation with justification. The brutalization of the population may end in castigation by the United Nations, but any reaction to militarization or decimation is countered by the bureaucratization of delegitimization. So it's the mobilization of the population that'll push democratization or any other designation appropriate to the denunciation of election aberrations. Whether emancipation or federalization of faction function germination, humanization is idealization. So is inflammation or intervention necessary for legitimization of revolution? Is change just resolution of modifications with mitigation by modernization? Hell no! True evolution comes through cerebration and the dissemination of knowledge normalization across the generations. The resolution of fertilization, through fornication without contraception, with the saturation and positive perpetuation of unification pollinization, leads to victimization, truncation. Translation. The valuation of transformation beats the temptation of intervention. The resolution of mental evolution will put any collection of nations into syncopation, and the stigmatization of sublimation will face correction or stagnation. Of course, this is all just speculation, as it'll take generations of education and the solidification of retention selection. But if the absorption of socialization rationalization leads to rejuvenation, then the restoration of excitation will be no exaggeration. It'll take perspiration and organization exasperation, but frustration exemplification forces examination and the exculpation of expectations. The exaction of erudition leads to detribalization and dysfunction castration. If you aggrandize, convenientalize, and categorize, collegize, the logic will circularize until you conceptualize the prize. And destabilize or idealize, well, we prioritize the deep flies. My attempts to lyricize these brainwave spies might mechanize rather than maximize, as long as it doesn't monopolize our mental ties. Excuse the editorialization, but it'll be revelation and celebration. Revolution in the form of civilization, evolution, exaltation, and ovation.
Please welcome Wolf Kitten to the stage.
I was compelled to look up from my Animal Kingdom book and I thought nothing of it. My peripherals on point as if I was suddenly encompassed by the spirit of the rabbit. My vision picked out an anomaly of beauty, beyond that of anything I could ever see. That's when I realized that she was giving chase. Every step with gracious placement. She negotiated sidewalks like a lady deer would negotiate fate on a highway. The movement of her body. Whew. Movement like liquid with low viscosity. She runs to catch this bus, the very same one I happen to be on. And this poem is a reiteration of one time when I met my moment with grace. And every footprint she leaves in the snow behind her, stolen by the wind to be forgotten wisps of her grandeur. And I want to stand up and yell to the driver, "Pump the brakes, Capitan!" There's a beautiful damsel behind us, and love manifested from lust as she boarded the bus. How can it be that I can suddenly see beautiful trails of twinkles, evanescent remnants of colorful kinetic energy prickles that feel like little tickles? And now she's coming towards me, and I think she's going to speak her words, electrifying, flung from her tongue with elegance past her lips. Phonetically forming her first word, I struggle to smile to cover my nervosity. I feel like a baby bush elephant, stranded in the African Botswana savannah, lost without his mama. I await her first words on the edge of my seat. I sit, she speaks to me, but I can barely hear it. And as her words are about to hit, she's spilling in viscid fluidic spit, particles that landed right on my face. But it's okay, because it felt like a cool spritz on a hot day. Her spit sizzled and snapped on the surface of my red-hot skin. In a flash within the flutter of my eyelids, I secretly, psychically guided her through galaxies, hand in hand like Lois and Superman. Our eyes connecting infinitely with each other, speaking a language understood universally by one another. Who is this enigmatic entity inhabiting this physical body? Was it our soul's magnetic properties that brought you to this seat, in this same city, on this same bus, to sit next to me? Please let it be. Please let it be that you and me are bound to be one, two beings under the sun to make our one into three. Because we'll plant the seed of a family tree of unity based on love and trust and continuous lust. We'll never combust or break down because our roots are bound to be grounded together forever. Please let it be. You want to know what she said to me?
Yes.
Perhaps, hey there, you're looking kind of lonely. Is this seat free? But no, I think I might have overanalyzed this momentous serendipity because all she said to me was, hey, do you have change for a toonie? And oops, sorry, I think I just spit on your face. My beautiful moment with Grace.
Every winter, I swallow my tongue, grind molar against the bit at the back of my mouth, curl myself inside of myself. Choking on my own tail, I forget to look up, forget to take my bad feelings down from off the shelf, and so they tumble out of full fall closets with moth-eaten mitten and my bad hipster outfits. But I heard a story. Or perhaps it was a joke about old cassette tapes with disappearing notes. The chemicals are so old now that the music feathers and fades like a dying ghost on a dusty parade. A desert symphony, each note cascading backward and over itself the way sand forgets the dunes. And if you listen to it on a loop, first you will hear all of it, and then you will hear less of it, until eventually you will hear none of the tune. And it reminded me of me and you, growing quiet and forgetful in the corners of dark rooms that don't deserve us, building walls around windows until even street lamp shadows can't find a place to sneak in. And it's really quite sad. I think you know that it is. So this year, I say fuck hibernation. This year I will paint my bedroom atomic yellow, play the tuba in your bathtub, decorate our mouths with berries and holly, and swaddled in warm blankets, I will pull us out into the breastbeat, beautiful, blistering night. We will scream each other's names into rain clouds, hammer our fists against the sky, taunt the gods of bad weather to try to shut our party down. But don't think that means there won't be time to do the nasty. Because we are gonna get it on 6 ways from Sunday, on rooftops till dawn, wearing nothing but the sparkling gossamer angel skin we were born in, screaming at the rain to either fuck off or join in to lubricate the party. Coming hard and urgent like the last notes of disappearing music, me and you, and maybe you, Chucky. So don't bother to bundle up because the winds are rolling in and even the satellites in heaven want to count the goosebumps on your skin. I've got a fire burning, nothing but my mittens on. Winter is coming, and baby, believe me, we've been doing it all wrong.
Regarde encore, look again. My mind is saturated with thoughts too condensed for you to comprehend. Too thick of complexities for anyone to ever decipher. So when you're asking me how I'm doing, I just give you my diluted version. My enough to make you think I'm okay version. Look again. Regarde encore. My heart is bloated with incomprehensible grief. While fear held it captive, my eyes and ears were overflowing with disbelief. You see, I heard the cries of my country. I saw their dust-painted skin, smelled the infected wounds of their flesh, a place once called home. country of my birth. Pays crasé, breaking, shedding, Haiti. You once held a crown of freedom and prosperity, ignited the flame that burnt slavery. Now poverty stole your crown and shackled you with hopelessness. Hopeless. Less became the chains that kept you from seeing any hope. Less are the remains of what is left of your abundance. Less became your so-called progress. Cursed, they say. Desperate, they say. Poor, they say. I say, look again, I'll regarde encore. Look again, I'll regarde encore. In my people's pupils, I see a mere reflection of God's attributes. Look again, I'll regarde encore. A tenacity so steady that it makes 10,000 angels salute. Look again, I'll regarde encore. A richness so brilliant that it can only complement the sun. Look again, I'll regarde encore. A faith so unyielding that it can humble any powerful earthquake. I'll regarde encore. Look again. Wa west ak m'fek wea. Look again.
Beauty is less
an image,
more so
imagination,
not a picture,
perfect pretense of unblemished embellishment. Much like truth is not
a theory for everything.
Beauty is not
a snapshot of forever, photo finished to be flawless.
Far too naked to be fully exposed.
Beauty is the love that remains when passion is vacant.
It is not a drug
or a game,
nor a fashion statement, but we will say this about beauty.
It is worn like the winter dress of a dragon witch,
waved like the wand of a wayward dervish wizard.
Genderless and bodiless, but soulful.
So full, in fact,
it can keep our dreams caged in cravings for unattainable things.
Addictions that flicker
like strobe light strippers,
peeling
off,
shadows sharp as paper-thin cuts
from magazine pages.
But beauty is not an image. Beauty is a mage.
And we aren't meant to know what magic
looks like.
Beauty is goodbye in all its grace,
without the wave.
A sunset without a silhouette.
Many images are beautiful,
but none are beauty. Truthfully, beauty
is a comparison that cannot be made,
a companion that cannot be kept,
and a composition that cannot be finished. It is the wondrous work of art that never satisfies,
the consummate code of science that doesn't quite explain,
the question begged by every answer wanting more,
the lesson embedded in every layer of language.
Beauty
is not
a body, yet we break ourselves to embody it. Wouldn't it be beautiful if we forgot we look like anything? Imagining the shapeless shift
from form
to phantasm, from frustration
to fruition,
where the ugliest blemish is as close as it comes to the perfect flaw.
Oh man, no, because I believe in a Captain Morgan. I believe in a big old hurricane that's gonna tear down my house and set it on fire because I don't got insurance yet. And I believe in the almighty dollar, and I believe in craft dinner. And the trip to the country be getting longer and longer because I don't sleep in a pile of blankets in the back no more. Because I gotta drive the car, I gotta stop for gas, I chop the wood, I cut the grass, I make a dinner, I kick an ass, I fall down and get drunk, surgery, I got pension plans and prescription drugs, and there's in-laws, I got traffic lights in my hair, and I got a big old bruise on the inside of my head that wasn't there when I woke up this morning. So I phoned the doctor and I phoned the internet and I said, doctor, help me. And he said, that'll be $42.75. And I thought, well, shit, because there goes the cable. And there's a big lightning in the sky because, well, I know where the blue goes when the sun don't shine no more. These days, blue go hiding all the time these days. It go on vacation these days. And I had a bad dream last night. So I called my best friend Rodney and I said, Rodney, I had a real bad dream that people don't care about nothing but money. But he didn't wake up because he had to work in the morning. So instead, I rolled over in bed and I saw my baby girl lying next to me. And I said, baby girl, I had a real bad dream that when we get old, we ain't gonna kiss no more. And people mostly get married for fear of being alone. But she was all snuggled up next to the mortgage. I didn't want to wake her up, so I just said it under my breath. Instead, I got out of bed and I called my mama. I said, Mama, I had a real bad dream that nobody knows what it means to grow old, and we all just pretended so we can die without looking like fools. But she didn't wake up. My mama don't hear so good these days. Instead, I went to the living room and I had a glass of scotch with a Peter Pan, and he said, this growing up stuff, it ain't all bad, it's just not for him. I don't know, maybe he's right, but I already done got grown up.
In workshops that I facilitate for high school students, I tell them the importance of being a good bystander. I tell them the incident of Kitty Genovese, 1964, stabbed and raped repeatedly in a parking lot while an entire building of witnesses did not know it was their problem. I do not tell them why I volunteer to tell them this. In conversations with men that I work for, I do not tell them there are words I will never tell anyone. If you are unfamiliar with the idiom, no homo, I will be the one to tell you that what began as some dumb shit a rapper said has evolved into an elaborate game of monitoring peer behavior through the lens of homosexuality, claiming a pat on the back of the head, simulating a blowjob each time the disclaimer is not spoken. I tell my coworkers that for straight guys, they think about gay sex like a lot. Do not tell them every fact I know about violence. I tell them cities that I've lived in, reasons I've been arrested. In this telling, I do not explain whoever I kiss. I call myself queer. I tell them I simply opt out of their game. When footage of the word faggot falling from Kobe Bryant's lips comes on television at work one day, the reaction is not as bad as I expect. It's not any better. And I tell them nothing. I do not tell them how the point isn't Kobe's temper, or the referee's feelings, or the price of the penalty. I do not tell them the moral equivalency of a white player and a different slur. I do not tell them that I believe this is all related. I tell them nothing! Nothing I tell them will help. I tell adolescent reflections of myself that their actions directly impact the community that we share. I tell them that all assault affects each of us and that it is never only their responsibility. In this telling, I do not address questions that this room does not need to know my answer for. I do not tell them the right to unspeak from personal experience. I do not tell them how often I am a staggering coward.
Yeah!
The nutritional value of sex.
I am mostly a careful lover. I have loved many and with my whole heart, but rarely with my entire being. I am too selfish for that.
We poets are wild, reckless romantics.
Sometimes, but beneath even the wildest of poet souls is an archivist who needs order, sequence, and meaning.
We like it when our life experiences
have some kind of artistic sense.
We like our chaos,
to have boundaries,
our heartbreak,
to have purpose.
We need narrative.
And with you, there is no narrative here, no order, no sequence, no plot.
When I'm with you, I'm all prepositions all up and In and over, between, beyond, and through.
Your love is like anarchy. Adjectives are absent here in this space between me and you.
This place defies definition.
It's at once unique and everywhere, like gravity.
Like magic.
Like light.
This is magic.
I am too selfish for this.
But there is magic here, I swear, from the way my soul explodes with pleasure in every direction when I'm near you.
I can spend entire nights awake, sucking sleep from your skin and go to work energized the next day, fueled only by whispers and saliva and touch. This doesn't make sense.
I have faith in our kisses.
I am lost in here. I am all tangled up in you, unsure whose breath is whose. Dizzy with lust, I feel electric thoughts sparkling like melted liquid stardust, evaporating into pure bliss. They say love is like falling, but this feels more like spiraling upward.
I'm spiraling up in love with you.
I believe in our bodies. Like breath-caressing lungs, your smile touches mine with grave and graceful tenderness, cuddles up close and snuggles down deep. I should be writing.
We are poetry.
I can't argue. Because sometimes language is vapid, but last night we breathed sustenance into one another's hungriest parts.
And in the charge between our bodies, I swear I felt the full meaning of every poem I'd ever written or read or would read.
And I knew that no amount of careful thought or linguistic precision could ever capture this moment, but still,
as we lay
languid
supple
and sated, my inner archivist was already drafting this new poem about language,
anarchy,
and the nutritional value of sex.
I watched a man lose his youth today. It wasn't as dramatic as you might think. If I hadn't been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. But I was looking right into his eyes. As I told him, his shoulder wasn't going to get better this time, not all the way. Too many falls, too many separations, dislocations, chipped bones, torn tendons. Too many times that shoulder had been asked in the service of youth to do things a shoulder is just not designed to do, and I had to tell him it wasn't getting better. And in that moment it was clear that although my words fell on his ears, they settled in his eyes. I remember once in my youth standing on the bank of a river, eyes dancing, and in a clear, steady voice, strong enough to be heard over the rush of the water, saying, "The near side, I think. Close to that fallen tree, then between those two big rocks. There's a ledge there, we'll take on some water, but see, there's a spot just beyond that where we can get out of the current and bail if we need to before hitting that last real nasty bit. What do you think?" A long pause then before my father said, "I don't know. The water's up. There's a couple of rocks there that almost got us last year. This year we won't see them. So you think maybe we should portage the gear, shoot it empty?" Another pause. "I think maybe we should portage the gear and the canoe." I spun to look at him, a grin on my face, thinking he was joking, but then I saw his eyes. And I didn't know those were the eyes of a man who had lost his youth, didn't know, still don't know if he was right or wrong. I just knew as I looked into those eyes, we weren't going to shoot those rapids. I have watched men die. Watched them die drowning in their own vomit or seeing their own guts spilling through a burst wound onto the bed beside them. Once I held a man's heart in my hands. It quivered uselessly and then stopped moving altogether. And I remember their eyes, the look of them. And it was not unlike the look in the eyes of that not young man today, different in degree perhaps, but not in essence. It seems that in a man's eyes, I'm dying. Doesn't look that different from, I'm gonna die someday. So if you're listening to this and you are young, truly young, I'm sorry, because I know it was hard enough to learn the truth about the Tooth Fairy, Santa Claus, and world leaders, but I feel like I just have to warn you. Your day will come. Something will happen. I don't know what it will be. Maybe something small like an injured shoulder that never quite stops aching, or maybe something big like an injured heart that never quite stops aching. But until that moment, every year and every day and every moment until that moment, enjoy yourself. Cherish yourself. And no, I don't know why I'm telling you this, because of course this is a story told by old men to young men through all eternity, and the young men never hear, but maybe the old men never quite tell it in a way that it can be heard, and maybe there's a chance I could leap from things, shout things, love and make love like the future of post-apocalyptic humanity rests in your genes, suck the marrow from life, and then build palaces and skyscrapers from its hollowed out bones. Live! Live! Damn you, do not waste your youth. It is too precious.
So here I am. I've crossed the world to sit with her, hoping that she'll spill kitchen secrets of black beans, cornstarch, soy sauce brought to a boil and thickened. But instead, I learned to be thick-skinned, how to thicken my skin so that her words will not hurt me. My grandmother's skin is paper-thin, blue veins raised like remnants of the Great Wall, and I wonder if the Great Wall of her stubbornness will ever fall. She falls more often now. She's broken both hips, hit her head, the arches of feet that once squatted in the streets selling vegetables, selling bok choy, gai lan, choy sum. Her feet no longer hold her. But she is stubborn, and fear of falling is nothing compared to the fear of failing to feed a family. She remembers hunger. Now she gets up to go into the kitchen and I follow, hoping that I will find kumquats preserved in salt after the new year, hoping I will find secret maps tattooed onto the backs of my hands that will let me crisscross checkpoints trading secrets for spices and spices for seeds. But the kitchen is small, and I don't know how to hold a knife or how much rice to cook for two. I don't know the names of vegetables. So she tells me, get out of the way. And from the sidelines, I watch her rinse rice, slice winter melon, crisscross green onions, ginger across fish belly. My belly has never known hunger. And yet I am afraid that when the last Saskatchewan farmer yields to Monsanto, we won't know how to feed our cities. I am afraid that when the grandparents are gone, our tongues will long for food that we no longer know how to name. Then the food we eat will feed us, but our taste buds will not flower. But I can't say I'm hungry, grandmother, for recipes for survival to help me hold out against the doubts that come from not knowing the words to name this hunger. I can't say I'm searching for the wisdom of women who carried the weight of the world on their hips. I can't say I'm searching because if I have a daughter, I don't know what color her skin will be or what language she'll dream in. But I need to teach her to trust her gut, to find the food that makes her heart and stomach fly. But I can't say this in Cantonese. Luckily, I love to eat. So I fill our bowls, I pour the tea, and now the two of us take our seats. And now I say the only thing I can't say. I say, Popoa Sikfan. Eat rice, grandmother. And we eat.
This is dedicated to anyone who's ever lost somebody to marijuana.
Danger! Marijuana!
Keep it illegal!
The dangers of smoking marijuana, commonly referred to as the CFSW cigarette, are widely documented anecdotally. For example, marijuana is a gateway
to violence.
Several weeks ago, a young man was jumped by a member of your local gang. The thug demanded money, but the young man had already smoked it all away.
Tis, tis.
He was laughing, and so he got a stabbing.
Ouch.
And had he not bought that bud, he wouldn't have funded the blade for that thug. Marijuana. Will you be left?
In stitches? Don't smoke dough. Don't smoke dough.
Don't do it. Don't even smell that bag, you OD.
After one toke, you'll attract the wrong bloke, and I'll stab you in the chest while you giggle and jest.
Marijuana is a gateway
to death.
Recently, a young woman was struck and killed in a hit and run.
Ouch.
She reeked of
skunk.
And that driver was
drunk.
And there's no mandatory minimums for drunken manslaughter, but she would have got 3 years for handing out a cush quarter.
That's fucked up.
Marijuana. 3 years to life.
Or death. Don't smoke dough. Don't smoke dough.
Don't do
Don't do it.
What do you hope to do with your life?
Slow.
Poetry
After one
festivals?
toke, you're gonna be smoked, mangled in a wheel well.
Your eyes are red, ma'am.
Or by the omnibus crime bill.
Marijuana is a gateway
to madness.
Only on marijuana is it okay to say, Jesus, I could kill for a burrito. That we can't go a week without a headline reading, mutilated bodies found in Mexico. Clearly, someone is killing for a burrito. Marijuana, part of the drug war.
For some reason. Don't smoke dough, don't smoke dough, don't do it, dude, it's slippery slow. After one toke, you'll move on to the coke, putting money in the hands of the criminal gangs.
Keep it illegal. Marijuana, like the cigarette, is smoked. And cigarettes
kill 443,000 people a year.
But 100% of the people that smoke marijuana will die.
Eventually.
So keep
it illegal.
If poor people can buy marijuana legally, who will we use to fill up our new prisons? Exactly. So
keep it illegal.
For the industrious beaver
and the noble eagle. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the officials of privatized prisons and organized crime.
Given our country's current political climate, it comes as no surprise that I can clearly recall a listless, misty gray November Remembrance Day and the 12th grade assembly, in which I chose to stay seated. Because I disagreed with the edict that stated that those who rose agreed with the purpose, method, and end result of all Canadian conflicts from the earliest formations of our great nation until that date in late '95. And now, I know and respect that all kinds of lives fell behind enemy lines, so I could exercise my right to stay seated in defiance of our oftentimes tiny-minded British nation-state that until 1984 completely ignored its Aboriginal population's citizenship, with the exception, of course, of the duration of both world wars, during which it forced any Aboriginal wishing to fight to resign their status as an Indian, rendering him or her unable to return to the reserve upon completion of service. Armed with this knowledge, I'm sure you can imagine how nervous my great-uncle Magnus Henry was in the fall of 1946 as he approached not only the border of his northern BC reserve, but also two armed and mounted RCMP officers waiting with the local Indian agent, who calmly stated that while the Commonwealth thanked him for his dedication, he was no longer a member of the Haisla Nation and hence had no home on this reservation. Now, I'm not negating immigration, but my people have a sacred and ancient tie to this proud land, and now this proud man was being told that he had severed that rope when he rose and chose to become a Canadian. I doubt you have to elaborate on the irony implicit in this situation, but the fact of the matter is that from preschool through to the year of my graduation, I had either ignorantly or complacently played along, ignoring the wrongdoings and countless crimes that life itself sometimes committed. Luckily, in the fall of 1946, my grandfather and his other brothers didn't. They too were waiting for Uncle Mac to come back to Kitimat, bearing stories of war and glory, and that autumn morning, from among our sacred cedars they emerged, armed to the teeth, and proceeded to purge that agent and officers of their clothing, weapons, and pride. Sent all three men riding bare ass back to terrace, buck ass naked, but alive, which is more than war has done for far too many of Canada's daughters and sons. As I was writing this poem, the 81st Canadian soldier died in Afghanistan. This man's name was Sergeant Jason Boys. 32 years old, he was killed while on foot patrol in the Panjwai district of southern Kandahar province. Hailing from Napanee, Ontario, while I never knew the man, I imagine the passing of his life is mourned most by his wife Allison and young daughter Mackenzie. Light-hearted, quick to smile, and friendly, Jason got caught up in the frenzy of life and paid a price that far too many men with far more revolutionary eyes try and write an IOU for. This new form of war has left us constantly battling with ourselves, whereas once upon a time, it was easier to tell good from evil because they ran in parallels. These days they run in packs, dashing forward and leaping back. Who's keeping track? Who's wrong? Who's right? It's all inconsequential next to the long arm of might, but right now as I sit here, I can't help but be proud of my country as a whole, and the freedoms that we've allowed the countless thousands that came here, hoping against hope, and found a damn close to just society that was gift-wrapped by men like Jason Boys and my great-uncle Mac. And looking back, I realized that to stand in silent pride is to honor the brave that paved the way to today with their very lives. So now, with my right hand over my heart and proud wide open eyes, I rise.
My mama if my hair was easy to manage as a child. She looked at me with a raised eyebrow and replied, "I'm a white woman. What do you think?" Well, it got me thinking that there was a reason why Minnie Mouse ears, short haircuts, and afro were the only hairstyles I came to know. And it's because my hair is nappy. It's a lump of dark brown shit attached to my unevenly shaped head that's tied together with knots. The roots of all evil. Makes sense seeing as though my ancestors were slaves and my locks represent
100 years of lockup.
But you know, my hair, I love it. It may be short and nappy, but I couldn't be any more happy.
When I was born a beautiful baby boy, I was born with a beard. But I was no bearded baby, no. My beard only appeared as silken strands of glistening silver peach fuzz. But my baby beard and I were connected from day one. As the sun grows vast patches of grasses over the planet, my beard remains epiphytic. Grips my skin.
Like ancient lichen grips the granite.
And for years in a dormant state, my beard gestates. Until one fine day when my beard finally matured. Emerged from hibernate hypersleep like a goosebump shiver. Rises from a whisper. Or a mushroom rises from the spore. My beard, the fruiting body, rises into wiry filament, ginger whisker, fiery flowing fleecy cord.
My hair is my hair. Your hair is your hair.
From bushy and burly
to my old bald head.
From short and nappy
to long and knotted.
This hair speaks volumes about you and me.
But does it really? Hair? Don't really like it. I knew I grew it. But before I knew it, it was taking up all my time. From combing to brushing, gel it, mousse it, afro, pick or lay it slick. All I hear is the tick, tick, tick. And when I look, I'm still skeptic. I'm in a panic. I can't go out looking like this in public. And now I'll have to shampoo this hairdo, try to make do. Tinking Silver Surfing Mr. Clean, Michael Jordan.
What would they do?
Because you only live once, and conditioning is like a mission. You stand in the shower with minimal power, avoiding the water like sheep to a slaughter, and really I oughta use the suggestion of 5 minutes to set it, and the time that you're taking to curl it or straighten, you'll never get back.
So Jack, let's all get laid.
Back, and not so off track, thinking there's a Kodak moving around the corner. That's your hairstyle, your virtual social profile. Lets people know if you're worthwhile. Let's all see now. Be fair. It's just a veneer.
My armpit hair is precious and rare as photographic praise. In an age of large-scale decimation of the native landscapes and the bodily napes of women, the hair under there is an endangered species, an unwanted renegade in the pristine panorama of a well-manicured body. And I am tempted frequently to submit to the tyranny of the beauty industry and lovers brainwashed by patriarchy who would have me hairless and shiny. So when you came to me, just after undressing me, tenderly pressed your lips against the tresses in my pits, I was all heartbeats and awe, my jaw on the floor, my pheromones screaming, no one's ever kissed me there before! But in the background of these groundbreaking kisses, I was secretly wishing that my hair could just be my hair, nothing more, and that your hair could just be yours.
It's like you're in this nightmare that you can't bear. You're not aware of your surroundings. You just stare. Where you're looking? Nowhere. Your feet are pounding. You just glare. How'd you get there? You just swear. Where you going? Don't care. And let me swear, I do declare. For the life of me, feels like I've been cheating. Rip Van Winkle, Sleeping Beauty, those two were cheating. For their eyes were closed as the years went by. I've been sleeping when awake. Thought I'd do it till I die. But now I'm in a relationship with someone I want to be with. This moment of my life, and it clicks, hits me right in my heart and soul like psych. I bet you didn't see this coming when I started knocking. You said coming. I opened the door. You fell to the floor, and not like before. You couldn't ignore the outpours. I implore like it's post-war. We're going to explore how we got into this battle. You cackle. I rattle. I shake you. I want to wake you, retake you, educate you through the rules of existence. Past your insistence, persistence, resistance. Open your eyes to look further than the sky's blue. A journey into what's true. It's time to await, not stir memories of hate. No time to debate, but relate, resonate, and translate to see in the world, life, nature, the universe, through your life, through your soul, in a whole different role. Everything is connected, it's reflected in a new perspective, not like a contraceptive, because it gives birth to an understanding that's branding and mental unscrambling. In a place where the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees, the Chinese, Japanese, pygmies, and Portuguese, all life known to man in the same case with man. All the stars and the moon, chimpanzees, baboons, a platoon, a tycoon. People love a commune. All the Jim Johns and Janets, all the undiscovered planets. We're connected to a life force with one source, a resource to enforce a discourse. The journey within, deeper than your mind, heart, your skin. And when you've been like I've been, and the tailspin defining them or reclining because my eyes been awakened, no more mistaken. I got a stake in every conversation about preservation, conservation, even United Nations. And further than this, all life known or unknown, homegrown, past the ozone, even those with a gravestone. Reminds us that you can open your eyes, but you see with your soul. But your goal is to see the whole world circle of life, morning to night, a footer in flight, with 20/20 eyesight.
It can't all be Disneyland. This grand family adventure is as much pain as bliss. And in this day and age, it's all the rage to wave around your ex-spouses like accessories. My ex-husband is more fucked up than your ex-husband. I listen to these lists of personal disasters and I think, holy crap, this is scary. So I sit and I wonder, why do people get married? Why do people want 2 kids and a dog? Why do they want to schlep bags to the skating rink? Who thinks these hijinks are a thing to drink in like liquid gold? Who sold me this nuclear family unit? And dear God, where is my warranty? Who told me this was a good way to be? Who made the phony mold that following college comes? Matrimony. I stand stony-faced with every new engagement and I pull thumbtacks out of maps. Make that one more thing undone. Another funeral for fun. Another friendship has had a good run. Another receipt for a toaster. Check, please. I want a vaccination for this marital disease. It is the mid-20s cooties. It's the 5-year plan brain freeze. You trade the free breeze for shared car keys and minivan lease and utilities. Am I the only one who sees this unholy union not as the bee's knees but a soul squeeze? Okay. No way I am giving up shit for this. Wind up living with a loser who pines to disagree over where on the lawn we're gonna plant trees, which day the kids ski, who does the laundry. I'm kicking this man to the curb before I've even met his sorry ass. So I confess, the best way to get me in a white dress is on a drunk whim in Vegas before His Holiness Elvis. Flags down a cab after a quick shag with a guy I just meet. I'm already planning my first divorce party where there will be strippers so tan they still radiate heat because it can't all be Disneyland. This plan plot perturbs me. I want to keep crazy hours and stay on the grid, and I don't need me a kid to drag around like a testament to my success in life. This child will not be my Louis Vuitton, my Lulu, my Prada, my vessel for vicarious living, my 5 healthy recipes for back to school won't be my hockey stick betting. I'm more on these wedding announcements. Is this inevitably where we're all heading? Is it wrong of me to be dreading seeing the same dunce's socks on my floor every morning? What are people getting out of this institution? I choke on the tulips in every yard, on the post-Christmas cards, on the smugness of people who feel they have parred the course when they could have starred in their own film. It's hard for me to see how anyone could have mistaken that for Disneyland.
Have you ever played your insights like instruments until they arise as if they were not your own?
Have you ever held your pain like a microphone until it plugs into all the power you can speak to?
Have you held the breaking point down to an art
until it breaks you down to an artist? I have.
Intercontinental and multi-elemental.
This culture is a globe-trotting gust of embers planting themselves like waterfalls.
Scribble jam sessions of twisted limbs, limber tongues turning the tables on tragedy.
Expressing gratitude through graffiti. See, when the Bronx burnt down,
that carcinogenic arson was converted into art when the residents of those apartments gathered on the street corners
and spoke with a style that was free.
Public party time. The PA system shook park benches,
where vagabonds lay dreaming the demeaning realities of poverty.
And the 9mm gap between the mainstream and the ground under
is lined with bullet hole backtalk, barking rhetoric.
But gang stars and gurus alike rest peacefully, knowing they have rhymed their souls with their biorhythms.
Yeah, see, this is the roots of black thought in North America, growing from the graves of slaves into the slippery salvation of big money, tough love, and train of thought.
This is a white Eminem M, candy for consumer culture, coated with a hard shell but soft in the middle like scar tissue beneath calluses.
Like tongues twisting between palates, a generation soaks in the saliva of cyberkinetic sound waves.
Swerving through the needlehead, fate of fact and fiction lets this diction stick to the listeners when the DJ is spinning.
Damn. Breaking history records with cigar-smoking freestyle cherubs.
Making history better, whispering street nothings into headphones.
With no fear of broken English.
Have you ever expressed yourself?
To the breaking point.
To the boiling point.
To the point of remixing Genesis.
With linguistic emphasis, I have.
Only
we did not break this language. Only broke free from it. I said we did not break this language.
Only hoped we'd done it.
Only choked upon it until we broke its phonics free.
From sexual repression,
blasting,
ebonic,
boom,
with incredible aggression,
going sonic on silence,
to tame what is fearsome.
We speak till it thunders from earbud,
to the eardrum,
chronically inspired,
from brain cells to jail cells,
setting
16
bar
sonnets
on fire over radio wave carousels.
A case of words and
melody,
spreading light like a
prism. This ancient verbal
remedy,
steadying this
rhythm,
until the scuffs on the floor and the prints of producers
remain forever fossils fit for distant futures.
We bleed out beautiful,
rapping
till we're breathless,
dead set on this dream,
mapping
this hip-hop scheme,
this precise plan to be whacked